This is the Infinite Podcast. My name is Carlos Andres Ruiz, and I am here with my wife, Melissa Ruiz Vasquez. How are you doing today, Mel?
I'm good. Yeah,
Okay.
Tuesdays are I've identified are a little tough because later we have a rowdy bunch.
Okay.
So I'm trying to
Oh,
mentally prepare.
because Tuesday's the hardest.
Tuesday's the hardest,
Yeah, I would agree.
so trying to be ready for that.
I feel that I also get more consumed by something that I gotta do later rather than
Right?
the thing that I'm doing at the moment.
Mhm.
If if I have a busy tomorrow, I'm so affected by it today, which
Mm.
I'm working on it. But yes, today's Tuesday, and Tuesdays are the harder trainings. Why are they harder?
The age group we work with, it's that age where maybe your ability to respect people and their time is limited, and it's just you have to be very persistent, resilient, creative
Hmm.
when you're working with this age group. And kids like they're stuck in school all day and they get outside and they just want to play and be
Hmm.
chaotic, and this setting is meant for play, but it's also meant for learning,
Hmm.
which they hopefully spent the day doing.
Hmm.
And so they're like, I don't want to do more of that. I just want to mess around and be silly,
Yeah.
which again, we can have as the adults in the setting, we can have patience for that and understanding, but it's also like we have a job to do. And in our position, it's we got to make sure that the parents are happy, the kids are happy, and that we're doing everything that we set plan to do.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. But and as they get older, it gets a little easier sometimes,
Hmm.
because even as they get older, you gotta find the sweet spot with that age group. I think like
Hmm.
the sweet spot is like third grade and fifth and sixth,
Yeah.
because when it gets seven and eighth, then they're too cool,
Mm.
and so it's a whole different set of
Yeah.
issues. But how are you today?
I'm doing great. I I would say I agree that it's is the toughest one today. I don't know if it's the age, but I do
Mm.
feel that it it probably does have to do with the three elements that we talk about when it comes to relational intelligence, emotional intelligence, and character development. And I just feel that the the gaps are big between the groups,
Mm.
and there's some that they don't even need to be good. They just want to be. They need to want to be there, and so the gaps between wanting to be there and not wanting
Mm.
to be there creates a little bit more of disturbance within the session, and so it makes it so that we are really good at adapting to a player that maybe is not great but really wants to develop, and we're also really good at adapting to a player that is just there because their parents are making them be there. And
Mhm.
either one, we are responsible to giving them the best hour and a half possible. But when you put those together, it becomes really difficult because it's almost like it becomes the same meal for two people that have different appetite.
Mm.
And I think that one challenges us, but uh, I think it's why they have chosen us to do this role, because I think our relational intelligence is really good when we
Mm.
step on the field. And on top of dealing with the players, we also have to coach the parents that are volunteering,
Mm.
and it's the same dilemma. There's some parents that really want to be there. There's some parents that I'm like, yo, they're really about this, and there's
Yeah.
some other parents that I'm like, they're just doing it because they have to,
Mm.
and there's some other parents that are just doing it because their kid is there, and then trying to figure out the right hour for the parent and the kid, and given the different reasons as to why they're there. I think that makes it really challenging, and I think today is the day that there's the biggest uh, difference in why these groups or some of these individuals are there, and then we have to hit different notes.
Yeah.
But um, but yeah, it is difficult, but it is every time that there's a challenge, it pushes us to grow. I really think it pushes us to grow on relational intelligence when it comes to this specific setting, because we have to be so ready die to things that we may want to teach
Yeah.
and maximize the relational part of things, so that maybe we get to some of the things we want to teach. I don't think that people really enjoy learning when they don't feel cared for, and so
Yeah.
I think that um, that's something that we're really good at with Infinite Ballers. But yeah, so I think that's my point of view. When you were talking about us being the adults in the space, and we have a few topics that we want to dive into today, and as always, we're gonna try to gauge them through the lenses of relational intelligence, emotional intelligence, and character development. But you said that we are the adults in the space, and the question that came to mind was like, do you feel like an adult?
I do feel like an adult. I definitely feel more mature um, than I have in the past. But it's so interesting that
What's proof of adulthood?
proof of adulthood. Oh my gosh, adulting is hard. It's like what everyone says, because it's true. But groceries, and budgeting, um, making sure you're getting up at a good time so that you can do all the things that you need to in a day, like prepare your meals for yourself, make sure you have the right gaps you need to do, things that serve yourself physically, things that serve yourself mentally, make sure that you're taking care of yourself in that way, but also taking care of your finances, taking care of other people. Um, while when you're a kid, you don't necessarily need to focus on a lot of that. It's so funny, we hit 21 and we think we're adults, or we hit 18 and we think we're adults, and it's I felt so grown on those ages. Trust, before I turned 18, I was like, I'm already mature, like I'm already an adult, I can take care of myself, please. And then I turned 18, I still think, oh, I'm older, I'm an adult, I have more responsibilities. You do, but it's I look back at 18 now, at least where I am now. I can look back and I'm like,
You didn't know anything.
I meet like 18-year-olds now and I'm like, you guys are babies. Like, like, enjoy this. Because when we're younger, we can't wait to be older. And when we're older, we wish we were younger. So the grass is always greener. And I hate that for us as a humanity or as a society, because I wish we would just enjoy where we're at and take it all in, because the grass isn't greener, but it's a different kind of green.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's all you're gonna say.
That's all I'm going to say. That doesn't mean much to people, but it meant something to me.
No,
in my head.
that's all that matters. I think the grass is just greener where you water it, and you can only water it where you are today. You know, I think for me, evidence of adulthood is when I catch myself, which is something that I've caught myself saying a lot lately, is there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
I don't think that there were days when I would say that when I was young.
Yeah. Yeah.
And or there's not enough day in the time. I was like, I don't know which one it is, but I need an extra 2 hours.
That's so funny. It makes me think about that summer when you had a question for the kids at the camp. You asked them, if you had a superpower, what could it be? And Abby said, add more hours in the day so that she can play all the sports that she likes to play.
And it's interesting because she's so little, and she's one of the people that we say, like, she's such a little adult.
Yes.
And that's a reflection of it.
There we go. Now we know why she's such a little adult.
I think that's maybe I'll journal about it more. That adulting, evidence of adulting is when we start to ask for more time. Yeah.
I was watching, I don't know if this is relevant to the conversation, but yesterday when I was watching Avatar, Uncle Iroh, the older one in the group, he said that one of the ladies asked him if he wanted his fortune read or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, at my age, there's only one big surprise left, and I'd rather keep it a surprise. And mind you, this is a kid's show, which I thought it was so great, because they like, when you're a kid, you're probably like, I don't know what that means, or I don't really care for, or maybe you do and you're like, yeah, but I have so much time because you're a kid. But it's so interesting to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that was something.
That's very interesting. And I think, yeah, there's a relationship between time and where we are. I I was thinking about uh, what is if there's a phrase that I want to capture, and the phrase that kept coming to mind was uh, a timeless moment,
Mm.
and I just felt that, especially with this conversation, the older that we get, the more aware we are of time,
Yeah.
and I don't think that we were designed to be so aware of time or be constantly thinking about time. I think we are timeless beings. We're just on this temporary body, but there's a reason why there's moments where it feels like we lose track of time, where time flew by,
Mhm.
and normally that's when you're having the most fun. And and there's also a reason why sometimes time feels like it's dragging and it's taking forever, and that's normally when you're not having a good time. And so within all the things that we do, which it is yes to develop players and personal development as well. If in these moments that we interact with people, they are not losing track of time, I don't want to do it.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to find the best ways in which we can create spaces that, for a moment, you tap into timeless.
Mhm.
And and normally, like when you think of the word timeless, well, for me, when I think of the word timeless, it feels like do something that um, outlives the test of time,
Mhm.
and it lasts for a while. Uh, and and what I saw was yes that way, but also the separation of the two words, and it's just like time and less, and it's almost like think of time less,
Mm.
and that's something that you can only capture when you're so uh, present
Mhm.
in the moment, and and so hopefully we can create some timeless moments. And were you gonna say
Yeah, I think we definitely can. It made me think yesterday in the first session, the girls were like, "It's already been an hour.
something?
It's done." I was like, "Yep, we gotta go." And like even we personally, I lost a little bit of track of time
Hmm.
because we were coming towards the end, and we have to, at least in that, there's a transition period in which we have to go bring all of our
Hmm.
equipment to a different side of the field for
Hmm.
that setting. So that creates a little bit of a not issue, but like
Yeah.
it, there has to be speed there in that
Yeah.
moment because we have to go set up again. Um, so I think you naturally
Mm.
um, create an environment where
You lose
kids
track
can
of time.
go and lose track of time.
Yeah, and it was interesting because the session on Friday, for the creator of the session, which was us,
Mm.
uh, felt really long because we only did one setup, and within that setup we did different drills. But because it was the same setup, we're like, oh, this felt like it went forever. But I wonder if the kids were like, oh, it's already over,
Yeah.
because they were basically within structure just playing the whole time. And that we did something like that yesterday, where
Mm.
we removed some of the more structure drills and it was more playing.
Mm.
And then when one of us jumps in, that's when it starts to fly for that one.
Yeah.
But then for the other, that's trying to keep track of time, it feels longer. Um, and I'm not saying that we just remove the the responsibility of respecting time. I do think we should respect time, but but I think we should look for more moments and incorporate more moments where we give ourselves permission to create something that we are detached from time.
Yeah.
And speaking of time, my sister graduated
Yes, she
this
did.
week.
I want to add like
You want to add
sound
noises?
effects and stuff, like confetti and all the, my brain just, anyways. Yes,
I
she
see it.
did.
I see it all.
Thank you.
She graduated from college, and I don't know if it was an amazing time or a horrible time, but it flew by.
Yeah.
um, I was I when she entered college, I had not met you,
Mm.
and when she left college, I'm married,
Yeah.
just to make it about me.
Yeah, of
But
course.
but graduating and graduation was a unique moment in which uh, she is celebrated and appreciated in that moment, and um, and I think also for me, looking at the moment, not being the person graduating, it helps me value more of all the things that made this possible. Because I think if I was thinking back when I graduated, and I felt that I was almost ungrateful
Mm.
to everything that got me to that moment. And maybe it was because I put so much work myself to get the schoolwork done, to be able to play sport, to get not just 1 degree but 2 degrees, and deal with not being documented and still finding a way to do this entire process. And so because I put more effort, then it makes me remove how much effort everybody else put. But when I was just sitting there and watching my sister and my parents, it was more of a communal
Mhm.
appreciation, because it was my parents' last kid. Not that they have a lot, but there is a end of almost like an era, or a dream that has fully come to fruition.
Mm.
And their daughter, my sister, was able to graduate, but none of that would happen without them one day deciding to leave their country as adults
Mhm.
and go into uncertainty for an opportunity. And this weekend, um, it was it was what's the word? It's like it's moving, compelling,
Mm.
um, nostalgic. Yeah, I think nostalgic is the one. Uh, to be able to see that and know that, um, I don't know if we deserve or not deserve, but there's people who don't get to see both of their kids graduate, and there's people that get to graduate and not have both of their parents there. Um, so that was graduation.
Mm.
Um, you mentioned something. We were on our way to graduation. Obviously, it's really difficult to park, and so we had to park really really far,
It was.
and it was a full day event.
Mm.
The school graduation, and then dinner, and then pictures, and we're gonna get off the car to get to the original graduation. You asked me, like, should we take the gift? And and I said, no, no, leave the gift in the car. And then when we finished the two graduations inside of the school, you brought something up that was really interesting. Um, that you said something with regards to the gifts. Um, can you share what you said in the car?
Yeah. Well, I forgot that I was like, because we were also late. If the ceremony started at 9,
Hmm.
we were late. But by the time we got there, we were probably half an hour late.
Hmm.
They were just getting started on talking,
Yeah.
which graduation is insane.
Yeah.
But the whole
And it's
a
like,
college
who
graduation.
actually is it for?
Yes, it's who is it for?
Is it for the school to prove that they graduated people? Is it for the person speaking that actually wants to uh, give a speech to them, or does he want to tell his story? And all of
Mm.
them are fine.
Yeah,
But
they're all valid.
they're all valid. I just don't know who it actually is for fully.
So that is part of what I thought about, because we had the privilege of going to commencement, and if you've been to a college graduation, you know that it's not a thing where you're in the audience and the main characters are the people on stage, and at the end of the day the supporting characters are really just the people that are graduating.
Mm.
Like, we think that it's about the people graduating, but really it just turns into some kind of show for,
Mm-hmm.
and that sounds so mean, but it turns into almost a performance
Mhm.
for the people who work at the institution and the head honchos of the
Mhm.
whole place. And they get a moment to talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. And then at some graduations, they all go up one by one. And this one, it wasn't like that. We didn't get to see her really walk the stage until the second part of the day, when her School of Arts was, School of Arts was graduating, and that was even just a major, not even the whole School of Arts, I think.
Mhm.
But anyways, we don't really get to see her much until after the ceremony is over, and even then we were transitioning to a new ceremony where we also don't get to be with her, and then afterwards it's you get pictures and you go off to the next place. So bringing the gift didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
I'm just holding on to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, to me, a thing that I thought about, so what I mentioned the car was, is me bringing the gift to the actual graduation more about me showing up with the gift than it is the person receiving the gift, enjoying that gift.
And then putting them through the.
Because then they got to carry
Yeah.
it. They got to carry like 20 things on top of, like, when you're in graduation outfit, like, you got your thing on, you got your cap. Her cap was beautiful, covered in flowers, but it was heavy. So, like, then having to carry that. And, like, given, again, it's a community thing. We're all there. We'll hold whatever she needs us to hold. Like, we're here for her. But am I bringing the gift for me, or for me to feel good, or am I bringing the gift for her to enjoy the gift? And the reason that we gave a gift is so that she feels appreciated, acknowledged, loved, like, congratulated. And I felt like we could do that after all the ceremony stuff, so that way she doesn't have to worry about like, she's not going to open the gift right there. Why would she? I wouldn't, at least personally. And the gift is for her to enjoy on her free time when the chaos of graduation is done. So I guess something I mentioned in the car is, who's it for?
Yeah. And I think that proposes not just for that moment, but the question that then comes to my brain is, think about all the things that we do, and are they actually for the people outside of us, or are they just for ourselves?
Yep.
And it's interesting to consider that a lot of the things that we do are more for us than it is for who we say. And sometimes we even hide it, that it's an act of service, but it's an act of service to feel better myself more than it is for the service that I'm doing for the other person. And I don't enjoy big events.
Yeah, you hate them.
I think
maybe hate's a strong word.
No, I would say I hate them.
Okay, all right, we're there.
And it's not even for the inconvenience. I think it's for the fakeness of big events. It's so transactional, in my humble opinion, you know. And I will go because my sister was graduating, and I will honor her. But I didn't even think about the fact that if it was a movie, the main character was actually no human. It was the institution of Tufts. And then there's a little bit more prevalent characters, but even the students being a supporting character in that first one, we were there. I think that was the longest one. And they made it seem like this was for the students. But it was, in fact, if it's a movie and there was a big screen, not never, but very rarely were the students on the screen. And that moment itself is given permission to happen because it's proposed that it's for the students. And it's not. It's for the, what is it, clout? For the status?
Maybe.
Is that the word, clout?
What are you?
Clout?
No, I know what you're saying. Clout is the correct way to say that.
So I think it's more for that than it is for the people that actually put in the work. They don't even get their actual diploma. But anyways,
they get it in 10 business days, and if they don't.
But anyways, there's rules that, like, you have to sit, you can't stand, and
yes, you can't yell. It's to support whoever it is.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you gotta have your phones off. You can yell, all these things. And then this was an interesting situation because my parents tried to get there early, but even though they got there early, it was already packed, and there was nowhere to sit, which was near the stage. And we didn't even know that. It didn't even matter for the first one where we sat. Yeah. Because
we didn't even
there was nobody who was going to walk the stage. And and so my aunt wanted to be near the stage and the students, but she didn't get there early enough. And so then my aunt and my mom ended up standing near this, was it a fence? What was it called?
Yeah.
Like a fence. But behind them there was people. and then when we got there, I saw them and I wanted to go say hi, but I also when I got there and said hi, I felt that we were in the way of people watching, and it really felt like it just went right over their head, and that like no, like we deserve to be here at front, regardless of what time we got here, or regardless of somebody getting here before us, and it can be seen as the initial feeling is we should be more respectful, right? And I don't think the people behind them said anything or were rude or any type of way. But then it was interesting to me that we didn't consider the people behind, and we feel that we should have the privilege to stand here when there's like 20 rows. Why do you think that is?
Why? I think there's so many whys. And none of this is to like, of course, come at your mom or your aunt. It's just in that moment you're so happy and overwhelmed with pride, I'm sure, too. Like, I can't imagine one day if our kids decide to go to college, I'm going to be so proud of them in that moment where they graduate, or in anything they do, I'm going to feel so proud of them. Of course, positive things, but it kind of makes you forget about the other people around you, especially if you feel like it's something you deserve or you earned. So in that scenario, and you feel like you're so powered by love for that person that you're kind of like, I'll do whatever it takes, essentially. And if it takes pissing someone off or getting in someone's way, you're going to feel okay with that because I'm doing this for the person that I love, to almost prove how much I love them, that nothing is going to get in my way of being supportive in that moment. And part of it is not knowing that she's not actually going to walk the stage. If you knew that, then you probably wouldn't try to stand near, because I'm not even sure if they could see her from where they were standing. So if they couldn't, then it kind of feels pointless to be there, I'm sure, because I imagine that they're trying to stand close so that they can see her the best they can. The whole graduation was interesting, but and the people who were sitting there, to be fair, just because I was watching from a distance, they had a big screen right in front of them, because I don't think they could see much either. The band was right in front of them too, so it was a weird setup, to be honest. But hey, who am I? I don't create events or organize graduations, but yeah, I think that's powered by love and pride and support.
I agree, and
which of course aren't negative.
No, they're not
things
negative.
To feel.
Yeah, I think so. You love to follow rules.
I do.
And so if like
I'm a narc like that.
Well, I think rules are good because it keeps people when they're created for the better of the whole. I think it creates a healthier and better experience. I think I have a more difficult time following rules, but there's a moment in which I don't let myself break the rules, and it's when it gets in the way of somebody else's well-being. And for example, although I don't love rules, I wouldn't break the rule of standing there because I am getting in the way of this person's not permission. I'm getting in the way of this person's what is it? They earned the spot to sit there. You know, there was things that they had to do that I didn't do to sit there to have the view. And so in the moment that I end up disrespecting or taking advantage or overlooking somebody else, I'm gonna follow the rule. And then I think that there's some rules that are less for everybody's greater good, or that if they're broke. Like when we were walking in, they weren't really checking the tickets in all of the stations, and then the fact that everybody needed to have a ticket when it's like everybody's trying to be part of this moment. Um, if you show up, you show up, but I get that they're trying to make sure that there's not an overflow of people, and so if two people use the same ticket, I personally don't think it will harm the totality of the thing. But then it goes, if everybody ends up doing that, then there's too many people. But that's a rule that I'll maybe tippy toe around. But anyways, going back to the fact that the moment that a rule that is broken affects others, I think that's where we should stop. But then also be considerate of, are there rules that are in place to take advantage of us? And that's the ones that bother me, that in a way that if I follow every single rule, I'm almost letting them take advantage of me.
For sure.
And of my family and of the people that I love. So I think there's something special about honoring the rules, and there's also something special about seeing the morality or the intention of the rules. And if you're gonna break a rule, it has to have a pure intention or a pure motive. If not, then you're just trying to disrupt.
More of a selfless,
Yeah.
as opposed to a selfish motivation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, some rules are meant to be broken, I think. It's hard. I think part of the issue is everyone looks at it as black and white, like either obey all rules or break all the rules. And I think there's certain rules, like you said, that are meant to be more oppressive than they are for the sake of all people.
Yeah.
And there's some rules that are for the order of everything, just because if I know, like even on a soccer field, I've created the boundaries or the rules to this game for a purpose. But if I've created them just to make it harder on the kids, that's no fun.
Yeah.
But if I've created it for the safety of the kids, that's a whole different story.
Yeah. And like there was an event a couple of weeks ago where parking is always harder in university. So then I just parked behind a building, and I'm sure there was no parking signs around, but it was Sunday, and I saw that it wasn't in anybody's way. I wasn't blocking anybody in. So I put the car there, and then we went into the event, came out of the event. I'm guessing that I probably broke a rule of parking, but I didn't harm anybody. If it was going to create inconvenience for somebody else, then I would not do it. And so I think those are examples of, I don't know if it's called street smart or if it's clever.
Interesting point.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it as street smart. Like, to some degree, like, for example, parking in East Boston is parking in East Boston, but there's so many times that if you're from Eastie, you know, even if there's a sign that says permit parking only, if you're from that block, for example, or you're around there often, I hear so often, oh no, don't worry, they never come by here. Like, even if the sign says, but we know you're street smart enough, I guess literally, because it's a street, smart enough to know, hey, I'm not going to get a ticket, and I don't think I'm necessarily causing harm.
Yeah. And then when you got to pay the meter, like when there's a meter that charges like $3 an hour.
Rude.
Versus like
Wrong.
3 blocks further, it's only 25 cents, which I guess then it's just like $1 an hour. And so then it's like, who's taking advantage of who? And why isn't parking free for whoever got there first? You know, we all are citizens of Earth. And if you own a car and you are somewhere, maybe I would respect the like time frame. If there was time frame that like there's people that live in front of this place, so at this time we will establish this rule because you're considering the person that lives here, and they should be prioritized.
Yep.
But in Boston, in the middle of the day,
It's a free for all.
it should be a free for all, you know. And and so those are some of the things that, like, when I go have coffee with Pao, and I park and it has a meter, like I never pay the meter and I don't get a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not encouraging to not not do it,
Run your
but
risk.
risk.
Yeah.
You know,
It's more exciting that way.
it's more exciting that way. That way I'm like talking to her, and then, but yeah. So those are some of the places in which, if it's not harming somebody else,
Yeah.
play around with it. Maybe you cross the line in a way that it hadn't been crossed before, and you create a new reality that maybe was better for the common good. But if it's only good for you, I don't think
Yeah.
it's healthy. And I do want to say, before we finish, when it comes to my mom and my aunt giving themselves permission to get in front of people, although the other people were there first, I do want to have empathy with them, because although Pao was not gonna walk the stage in that one, they didn't know that. But then I got in the shoes of Pao, and I'm like, did Pao need them to be that close? And
Mm-hmm.
I remember being at graduations, and as the person graduating, I'm like, you really don't know, and you really aren't constantly thinking of like, where is my people? Because there's so many people.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom and my aunt never sat, and that makes me emotional. Never
Mm-hmm.
sat in the seat of about to graduate and
Mm-hmm.
potentially walk the stage. And for them, they are probably under the impression that the person that's graduating wants the people that love them the most as close as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Had they graduated from college, and had they experienced the fact that you're just sitting there in a crowd of people and you're just waiting to the celebration is after this with my family, then they would know, like, no, like, yeah, it's nice and everything, but they don't really need us that close. And so I think that there is that part of it that it makes me look at that moment as so beautiful, that Pao is an extension of them graduating.
Yeah. Maybe it's even the closest they are, like the more they can experience it through
Through
her.
Pao, through Pao. And what an honor to live a life that can fracture time
Mm-hmm.
in a way that as I'm sitting here, somebody else is graduating with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just Pao graduating, but it is Liliana, and it is Janae, and it is our grandparents also graduating in that moment. And therefore, stand wherever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Because I'm under the impression that the people behind my parents had graduated already and had experienced this before. And again, they were amazing. They didn't complain for 1 second. But taking that into consideration, I think something that's really healthy is like seeing all of these and trying to find what is, and I think that's big about our relational intelligence, being able to see the story from all the points of views in order to sit in their shoes and know that they're doing a human expression. They're expressing their humanity more than they are selfish or pride or all of that, when we fully go deep into their story. And it's, whether it's right or wrong, there's beauty in that moment, right? And the person behind them had the permission to cuss them out if they wanted to. And there would be beauty in that too, because they also wanted to be there for somebody, you know? And so what does it look like to, no matter how nasty the moment looks, there's beauty coming out of that expression. And just to finish with time, it's just always so captivating to me, the amount of pictures being taken in these events. And for anybody that doesn't believe that we are timeless creatures, the question that comes is like, why do we keep trying to stop time with a picture in every big event?
Yep.
And so my passion really, really is to create moments in which we make people lose track of time and lose themselves in the moment. And that moment itself, for whatever length it is, time does not matter. But yeah, I think it's fascinating how bad we crave pictures.
Yep.
Um, and then we go post them
Hmm.
to
Evidence.
evidence of a moment that we want to last longer than it did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to get the appreciation, the applause for it.
Mm.
Applause is a word that kept running through my head after graduation.
There was a lot of applause.
Yeah, and a lot of yelling.
Mm-hmm.
And that also comes back to who is that for?
Mm.
And,
Hmm.
you know,
So
it's just interesting.
we'll finish with the last question of how do we appreciate, and maybe this is just looking at a takeaway from today, from our conversation, how do we appreciate the moment more?
How do we appreciate the moment that we're, like, the special moment?
Or any moment? Or how do we appreciate, period?
I think being fully present in it is the best you can do. I think that's part of the reason I try not to take too many pictures or videos, because I think that that's a distraction from being in that moment fully. Because I guess I do it all the time in the sense of when we're working and I'm taking videos and pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then you have to be like, go do this, or no, not like go. No, no, you have to remind me to do something, or you ask me to do something, because I'm caught up in the moment of taking the picture. I'm not so caught up in what's going on in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, unfortunately, taking pictures, videos is a little distracting because I want the shot to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm terrible at multitasking. But I get distracted in how's the lighting looking? Is this angle correct?
Mm-hmm.
Could I try something new? I'm not more so on, oh, what is he saying? What is he coaching? What is going on? So the same is true in like special moments. So I think the best way, it feels for me the most respectful. Like I try my best not to get on my phone in times that we're spending time with family.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that feels like I'm not respecting the moment that I'm in, the
Yeah.
people that I'm with. And so to be fully present, I have to limit the distractions that I have. And it's only natural that, especially when you're stressed, you have work, you have all these things, that distractions are common in the sense, even if I'm not on my phone, sometimes if someone's talking to me, I'm thinking about what am I going to cook, what am I going to do later, what am I going to wear to training, what am I going to wear to whatever. You're just thinking about the future all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to cue myself back to be in this moment because, again, there's a verse that says that worry is not going to do anything in this moment. Like me worrying about what I'm going to do in the future isn't going to help me right now or help me in that moment. So I think being present is the best way we can appreciate that moment, that special moment that you're in. I'm not saying never take pictures, never take videos, but maybe you don't have to take 100 or a video of the whole event. You know, we always ask like, who's going to watch that?
Yeah.
So like, it's almost like the act of recording feels like I care about this moment so much that I need a video of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing if you're doing it for someone who can't be there in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
because you're showing love for that person so that they can be there in a future moment, I guess. But if you're doing it for you, then you take a picture, a 10-second video, put the phone down and be there for a second.
Yeah. I think the best thing you can do, if you do want to propose something that is for you, the best thing that you can do is be there, fully there. And there's no picture that will do justice to the moment. No view that you can capture that looks better than the view outside of the camera. And I think the honoring the moment also honors the people that you're there with.
Yep.
And whoever's not there, it's okay that they're not there, you know. So let's just create more moments of being present. And I really believe that uh, the moments in which we are most present is when we tap into the most timeless versions of us and the most infinite versions of us, which then I think it's the most uh, authentic and real version of us, which puts us at the maximum expression of our humanity. So yeah, so this week try to be more present, try to take less pictures, and um, try to just lose yourself in the moment. And if you have a hard time with that, maybe that's something that you think about or you journal
Mhm.
about. We talked about journaling, like why is it so difficult to be in the moment? Why does Andres feel that there's not enough time in the day? And it's not that we know how to fix it. It's just we are proposing that that is something that we should look into.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mel, for
One last thing. If you're watching, if you're listening, if you're if you're here with us and you made it all the way to this this point of the podcast, please give it a like, give it a follow, subscribe, whatever.
do all the things.
We really appreciate you guys listening. We're doing this because we feel that it's something that we are meant to do.
Mhm.
So we appreciate anyone taking the time to listen. I know.
Yeah, and I also know that there's people that do take the time, and I myself watch things all the time, and I do not like or comment or show proof that I've watched it. So also thank you for all of you who have watched and maybe haven't commented or liked. But the like and the comment does help, and it helps us hear your perspective and your point of view and what topics we should continue to talk about. So yeah, do that because that's also important for the algorithm. But all right, thank you, Mel, for doing this with me. I love having these timeless conversations and continuing to have a timeless relationship. I love you so much, and we'll see you guys next episode.